Welcome, Tzvi here. Have you ever wanted to just simply erase those old limiting beliefs and begin again with a whole new belief system? Those old limiting beliefs say, if only I was able to do this thing differently. Well, we really do have the choice to change the way we think. I know many times I felt it was way too hard to change the thinking I had because I was trying to control the outcome. But when I changed my thinking and asked Hashem for help, I allowed myself to look at it in a very different light. Everything changed. Everything that was so difficult and so hard even happened a lot quicker, a lot easier, and wow, it was amazing how it just happened. It kept falling into place, and before I knew it, it happened, and it was so much more successful. Thank God for that. So I guess the first question we could ask ourselves, where do these limiting beliefs come from? Well, there's a few places we all know that we can learn them as a habit, and then we can take them on by accident. What I mean by accident, that's we've heard it, we've tried something, and it didn't work out. So then we believe in ourselves, or lack of belief in ourselves, that we can't do it, or we believe it's impossible. And what we're trying to do, which is, I think I want to talk more about this than anything else, because is trying to control the outcome. What I mean by that is you're very rigid and you're very fixed with trying to get that goal, controlling it, that belief. But what happens is that you end up putting yourself in a box. And when you're in a box, you're limited by that area. So the whole idea is to let go of the control and give it back to the Creator, Hashem, God, because He knows far better. If we look out there and see the abundance out there and all the beautiful things, well, that's all come from Him. So in order to hook into it and have access to it, we have to remove that box that we've got and allow ourselves to hook into it. So what I mean is giving up control is we have to be open to focus and keep adjusting and adjusting to what's happening. We have our goal in mind, and we let go of the belief that this can't happen. Well, how do we know 100% that it can't happen? We don't know. But if we keep repeating that we can't do it, we keep repeating that limited belief, we are making it stronger, and we're sending it to the Creator, Hashem, God. This is what we don't want, and more than likely we're going to get what we don't want. But that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to ask for what we do want. So by limiting those beliefs, that's what you're going to get. So the whole idea is to remove that box and say, I'm open to suggestions. This is what I'd like. Please help me on my way. And do it in a calm way. Allow it to come in. When I'm saying allowing it to come in, what does that really mean? Is we put ourselves in a position, in a calm position, right here, right now, so we can hear, we can see, we can feel, we can trust ourselves, we can enjoy as things come in, and we can keep adjusting, And what happens to that limiting belief? We're like, it's going to come in again, but we're going to let it come in. We're not going to fight it because we don't want to push ourselves in the box. Because why is that going to come in again? Because it's dominant and the mind and body feels comfortable with it. So if it feels comfortable, we're going to replace it with being openness, being open to what chances and availability and odds and everything that's out there that we can choose, because we can see out there the abundance and we can see that it's possible. So we're going to replace it. We're going to let the old one come in and keep fighting us. That's natural. But we're going to bring in the new way. And what's going to happen? That new way is going to be over here now soon. And it's going to dominate through neuroplasticity. It's going to be the common one. And the more we enjoy it, the more we put positive into it, the body's not going to fight the new way. It's going to go, hey, I'm not threatened by this. I want to take it on. Let's try this new way. It feels comfortable. The mind and body is doing it and it's enjoying it. Well, if it's enjoying it, that's what I want to keep doing it. I've got to keep bringing it back into balance of enjoyment and happiness. But the old way of the rigidness, it thought was a way to learn it. The belief system was as if we do it in a rigid way, in a hard way, and we get upset and that's what it wants. If that's what it wants, that's what I'm going to get. But guess what? By teaching it a new way of doing it and it sees that it feels comfortable with it, it's going to be open to it and bring it in more and more and more. And remember, the number one rule is baby steps. If you feel that step's too big, then what do? We can cut that step down even smaller and even smaller. You may say it's going to take a long time, but bashing your head against the wall and trying to break a big wall down with a tiny little hammer, it's it's not going to make much of an impact. So breaking it down into tiny, tiny little steps, it means that you're actually getting progress. So with that progress, you start becoming thankful and you start enjoying it. But then you keep saying, I'm trying, I'm seeing this amazingness, but it's just not working. I keep getting stuck. What's really happening is the mind and body is still very, very heavy dominated in the old way. I call it scanning, where it keeps looking, is that old way still kicking in? Have I really changed? But the heart's still stuck in the old way of, it's a limiting belief, I'm going to get disappointed. But no, we know it's there. We don't fight it. Relief straight away. How beautiful is that? Let's take the time out because we know we can change it. And then we have a belief that we can change it. So now we're going to hook into that belief and start focusing on a new belief system that we do want. I can do this. And I'm going to put the time and effort to work it out. So many times I know that when I want to work this out, I have to allocate some time. I have to do my research. I got to work it out. I got to keep pulling myself back to center right now because my mind's going to go, oh, it's too hard, it's too difficult. It's like, okay, it's there. But I've had it many, many times. And maybe the smallest thing that I want to work out, or maybe a large thing, but the large thing I have to break down anyway, is that I know the process, how it works for me, is that I come back to center and I just zone in. And you could spend an hour fighting it and it takes 5 minutes to do it. But the old way is going to keep putting it off. It's like, okay, I know that's going to happen. And that's going to try and do it. But you know what happens? The moment that happens is you diffuse that old way of allowing it to happen. So there's no fight happening anymore. So instead of taking that hour, it gets smaller and smaller. And over time, the mind and body is going to go, hey, I like doing the new way. I don't need to put that fight up. I'm going to go straight to the new way. This is what we're working towards, this most beautiful way of living with calmness. And instead of realizing it's a limiting belief, this is not a limiting belief to stop us. This is a limiting belief to help us become a better person. See, it's a win-win situation. You think that limiting belief's going to stop you? No, that limiting belief's going to teach you how to be a better person, how to think and do things in a different way. Thank you, Hashem, of God, for those amazing limiting beliefs, because now I can use them to my advantage. So what I'm trying to explain is that it actually works opposite. And the less we try to control, the more that we become in control in a different way. Instead of trying to lock it down rigidly and completely focus on not being able to let anything control it other than myself, when you let go, there's so many more options out there. We let the Creator, God Hashem, help us. Instead of saying, I can do it, I'm the only one, no one else can help me, no one else is available. No, thank you. I'm open to some suggestions. It's like having the biggest team out there supporting you and helping you versus being the solo person trying to do it yourself and get frustrated. No one helping, no one's there, No, I'm going to hook into the biggest supporter of all, the Creator God, and everything else out there. I want them to help me. How amazing is that? I can hook into it. It's available to me. It's always there waiting for my help. I've just got to allow it to come in. So the big takeaway that I want to share with you is being present is a first step of being able to choose new thoughts. Being present can be very, very difficult, but remember, we're only doing baby steps. So even just catching it up, my mind's going, I got to come back to present. What does present mean? Focus on the task at hand. If I have to do this right now, I'm going to focus on that. And if the mind's going to get distracted, I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to get a boxing ring with it. Remember, it's the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. It's been around forever. It's a mighty fighter. So I'm not going to fight it. It's going to knock me out. I'm going to let it do its job. But I know I'm going to put trust in myself, trust in the Creator, that He's going to help me. So all of a sudden, it's just diffused the whole problem. So I'm going to practice being present right here. I'm going to choose my thoughts by being present. I'm going to choose my thoughts instead of the old habits coming in. It's so glorious and beautiful. I have choices. I have choices of way of doing things. Another part is being open to the goodness. Instead of trying to be the solo person, I'm going to be open to all the goodness out there. And when it's ready, it'll come in. And when I say that, what I want to share with you is like, at first you're going to be scanning. Is it happening? Is it happening? Is it happening? No. Once you understand and believe, it's a whole belief system. When you believe that it can happen, it'll come in so quick that you're like, whoa, what happened? but it takes time and takes practice. But what I'm sharing with you is things that you can look forward to happening and help build up the trust in yourself, that you know you can do it. You know that the test was put in front of you, and you know there's answers and then know there's solutions. And I've found the best and most powerful way to do all this is through joyfulness. Joyfulness to me is simply being present and being open and being thankful and being joyous and glad and all amazing. Just positivity. It's many, many facets of positivity. And when the more positivity come in, what are we doing? We're opening up to positivity. So we're allowing more positivity to come in. It's like when you're in a bad mood and you're grumpy. What do you always see? More problem, no problem. Can't find parking. The traffic's awful. There's nothing in the store. There's always a long line. But if we look in a positive way, it could happen all there. But just in a positive, like, oh, okay, it's taken me a few bit longer to find parking, but I've got time now to talk to the Creator. I've got time now to just relax. The lines are busy. Okay, once again, I can just be present and just think about things in a positive way. I wouldn't have had that time to do these things or work something out. The mind's not going to do it. No, I've got time right now to slow my mind down. So every time you give an argument, there's something bad, I can flip it around and show the beautiful things that are out there because the Creator gave it to us to enjoy in a most beautiful way. When we use our imagination, it's terrible, it's bad, the limiting beliefs, that's adding a lot of weight to it. So we have to open up our imagination. I've got many, many videos out there on imagination, meditation and all this for another talks. Also, when you know it can change at any moment, we're not going to put a limiting belief. I don't know when. I just know it's going to happen. We're going to keep it open. It takes the pressure off. We take the stress off. The whole key here is limiting belief is putting a lot of pressures, a lot of limitations. We're going to do the opposite. Let it go. I know it's going to happen. I know when it's the right time. And if it doesn't happen to me this way, I know it's going to be good for me because I'm going to keep adjusting. And I'm going to go with it. And I'm going to start listening. I'm going to start feeling. I'm going to trust myself. And you can slowly gravitate around to feeling great and going in those directions because we're put here to enjoy it and to help and share with other people. I want to thank you so much for staying through to the end. I appreciate it very much. And if you subscribe, I want to give you an extra special thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd love you to join the family. Thank you very much.